and welcome to episode 5 of League of DFS. I know yesterday I kind of mistaken it for episode 3 when it's supposed to be episode 4. We are now 5 movies in, or 5 videos in, and I'm excited to talk about League of Legends DFS again with you. We had our final day of the play-in stage, so those who won the play-in stage will now advance to the next stage. I will talk a little bit about that, how the format looks like, and what to expect going forward in after reviewing my lineups. The things that I also want to tell you is, if you have a chance, go watch Making the Rounds with Kelsey Moser and Emily Rand. You can find them on YouTube. It's K-E-L-S-A-Y, or I'm sorry, it's K-E-L-S-E-Y-M-O-S-E-R, Kelsey Moser. She's a fantastic analyst. She's an analyst for H2K this past spring split, and I think her way of analyzing the games and understanding players, macros, and coaching, all of that, can be really captured in a very simple way, and it'll help you understand the game of DFS or League of Legends better. If you're a player of League of Legends, it's something that you can learn about. I love their analysis. I love Emily's input as well. But for our purpose, we're focusing on how to try and win this fantasy game, try to get some money if we can. So this morning, the games it didn't come out as expected. I know Vegas and other betting sites really have certain betting odds on mostly Direwolves and Supermassive, and thinking that they would just dominate the whole day. Part of it did happen, the other part did not happen, and I will explain to you what just happened on this Sunday morning. So let's look at the review of the lineups. In my first matchup, Direwolves did not come through. I kind of had the feeling, if you had listened yesterday, I kind of had the feeling the Direwolves were going to mess up and backslide again. They were not expected to be a strong team coming in. They overperformed on day 2, but we really have no idea if they or overperform relative to their opponents. And today we kind of see that they actually were not as good as what they've shown on day 2, which really does cost us some money. But if you are a GPP player, and this is something that you might want to think about, is listen to the analysts, listen to what they're saying. If teams are underperforming relative to their expectation, expect them to bounce back. League of Legends really has a quick way of regressing back to the mean, and those are some of the terms that you should know when you are a DFS player, what regression looks like. And for teams that are overperforming, they will regress back to their typical mean. I think it played out in these 2 days. I'm not sure that you will continually see that, but it's a very quick turnaround. When you see good teams, you know the good teams, they will always go back to where they are at their level. If nothing changes in their roster, if the coaching doesn't change and they stay the same, you can expect them to pretty much go back to the dominant team. And on the other flip side, weaker teams will tend to go back to their own mediocre or weaker self until they change roster, until they change coaches, until they make some changes. But these swings happen quickly, and it bears for you to pay attention to. Now, going back to match 1, Direwolves and Supermassive were part of my cash build, and naturally I didn't cash in any of the double ups, and didn't win in any of the head-to-heads if I had played any. With that said, I did make some Kaboom and Supermassive lineups, and those helped me offset some of the losses with a pretty decent score. This is my best lineup with the Supermassive and Kaboom stack. The only mistake I made here is that I still went heavier on Supermassive because of their matchup against Pentagram. It's cashable. This score is pretty good to place in cash in a GPP, but it's not enough to take down a GPP, which is always something that you aim for. And this is part of my process, part of the way I play DFS is I'm always conservative. I tend to lean more towards the safer side, with the side that makes sense, and I understand that holds me back from cashing out on a GPP. in League of Legends, it's more forgiving than in NBA or NFL, say, if you have a little bit more chalky. But again, if I had believed that Kaboom would have made an upset, I should have built a lineup that had more Kaboom in them, more Kaboom players, and just couch that with some of the other favorites, some like Supermassive. That probably could have helped me place in the top 10, top 3, instead of being just cashable but not entirely taking down a GPP. So some other things that I learned, I'm still learning myself. I still have to reflect on it. I wasn't too confident, but at the end of the day, their gut feelings are there for some reason. I'm not saying to rely on the gut feelings, but following strictly to statistics and to everything that makes sense tends to be more low risk and low reward. They for match 2, I think it was pretty straightforward. So it's helpful if you have taken. Let me see if you have taken. Who are the matchups here? Okay, if you have taken Supermassive, because they were the favorite against Dire Wolves, and you take Kaboom against Pentagram. So pretty much play to your expectation. It's the way you stack them, and that's how you kind of get take down a GPP. In this matchup, I only played GPP. This is a pretty good score. I only placed number 3 out of the 27. It was a small field. So one pivot of a player could have helped me take it down altogether, but the idea was there. I picked the 2 favorite teams. I know that these 2 teams that I was confident that would win, and just stack them, and it fit well. For the salaries that was given, I could fit both of these teams without needing to punt or make compromises to my lineup. Of course, I always throw in a. This is not the lineup. I throw in a hedge, and that usually does not do as well as the one that I think will be better when I stack the 2 teams that I'm most confident in. Okay. So that helped me offset the cost, because once it came to the 3rd match, Supermassive already locked in their playoff spot against. They will play against EVOS, and all the other teams were eliminated. So what happens is they brought out what they call cheese. Basically, they just picked out champions that they like to play when it's not in a competition, and both teams just picked really random lineup and had this crazy fight where no strategy, is all straight up brawl, and it ended up being a crazy stupid high scoring game, which we call a fiesta in League of Legends term, a cheese fiesta. If you had just played players from the Kaboom versus Supermassive game, you would have been at the least a top 10 score. And to think that Kaboom were the ones that were winning in this game. The game was led to 40 something, 48, 40, last time I checked was 47 kills against 29 kills. That was just absurd amount. No game in pro play has ever scored that much. And Supermassive were not taking this seriously. Of course, I cannot predict that, and that ended up costing me a lot, because Kaboom were the ones that you needed. And once that happens, the other game where ownership will flow more towards Dire Wolves playing against Pentagram. You know that people will stack Dire Wolves, and if you don't have Kaboom players in your lineup, you're pretty much dead in the water anyway. And that's how it ended up for me in the 3rd match. I didn't cash anything at all. I was left holding the bag with Dire Wolves losing to Pentagram, which was another stupid, absurd thing, but I think their spirit was broken by the time they were eliminated. And Pentagram just had to make sure that they don't embarrass themselves on professional stage, but they are still pretty bad. I'm glad that's the last we'll have to see of them. Next up, the games that are upcoming, guys, and I promise you it'll be more exciting. You'll have learned much more from watching better players. I'm not guaranteeing that they're all going to play better, or they're all going to show great success, but at the least you'll see some better techniques, better mechanics, better strategies with the next upcoming games. So that's the review for the play-in stage. That's the end of the play-in stage, mercifully. We're looking into MSI, the second stage, which is the play-in knockout. Flash Wolves and Evos are just sitting there waiting to whoever wins the play-in group. So we have the matchup of Evos versus Supermassive, and Flash Wolf will play against Gambit Esports. I will break down the game further on Monday night when we get to play. The games will be played on Tuesday and Wednesday, so DK will probably have a slate up that's a 2-day slate where you must lock in your players on Tuesday, and you don't have a chance to swap out your players for the Wednesday game, so you better be prepared. I will try my best to help you prepare with that in the Monday night recording. But for now, let's understand some of the things. In the play-in knockout stage, we're going to a best of 5 games. So far, for those who are new to this, the best of 1 games, you know what it is. You win and you get the record in. But for best of 5, you have to win 3 out of 5 games. And sweeping your opponent, having games not played, whether you are a 3-1 or 3-0, will make a significant impact on which team to choose, which team slot, because they grant you bonuses, the 20-point bonus, which is significant, seeing that most teams earn about anywhere between 15 to 18 per game on average, if I'm not mistaken. A 20-point game for any games not played could be significant for the team slot itself. However, if teams can stretch it out to all 5 games, play all 5 games, you can see champions earning a lot more points for the winning team, champions earning a lot more kills, many more opportunities to take objective, creep score, and rack up their points. So there's a balance there. If you can think of any team that might have an advantage to sweep their team, you might be better off just thinking about how to strategize your roster around that. Are they more important than the ones that might have a high scoring every single game up to 5 games? Or are you taking the team that will sweep their opponents, and every single player, not just the team slot, every single player gets the 20 points per game not played? So potentially they can earn 40 free points. 40 free, F-R-E, free points. So there's a lot of strategies that go in there. I will talk about that some more tomorrow, but this is the difference between a best of 1, a best of 3, and a best of 5 kind of game that you will need to pay attention to as we go forward. The weird thing is, once the play-in knockout stage is finished, they will go into the group stage, which goes back to a best of 1. So we're back to this round robin, but we'll have better teams, I promise you. That starts on Friday. We have the champions from LPL, we have the champions from NALCS, we have the champions from EU LCS, and we have the champion from LCK and LPL as well, if I already mentioned that. So this brings for excitement. We're more familiar with these teams, we're more familiar with the names there, and it'll be a lot more excitement all over again. So this whole month we'll have a lot of LoL DFS to play. After that group stage, we'll go back to the knockout stage, which will become a best of 5. So I'll walk you through it in each of the slates. So far, this is what we have to look forward to. I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed it very much, recording and talking about DFS. If you have any questions, feel free to send them to me. I enjoyed some of the critiques you guys given, telling me what I did well, what I could do better. Informations that you need, that you want to learn about the League of Legends, you can hit me up at prime_time on there on my Twitter. You can always find these videos on YouTube, and I'm trying to upload them on Twitch as well. The last thing I want to mention is I do have a GroupMe, which is a quick app that you can download or open a browser for. Just sign up for it. It's very easy. A GroupMe with a bunch of people that we just bounce ideas off with. At Ruler Sama, I think I have your name correctly, is in there. We have J_L_28, Jeffrey. The group chat has been very helpful to me, to us, as we talk about strategies, as we talk about who we like to play, and we bounce off ideas. and we also find resources as to know who will start, who will sit. These are a bunch of great guys. I know it's just the three of us right now in the group, but if you'd like to join, just hit me up on Twitter. Let me know if you want to be part of it, and just I will send you an invite. We're trying to keep the group small so that everyone's voices can be heard, as well as the strategies that we share in there not be spilled over and let everyone benefit, and only those who just watch these videos will benefit from it. So thank you once more. Hope you have a great Sunday. I will see you again for the next slate.